Wassalatu wassalam ala rasulillah wa ala ali wa sahbihi ajmain. Amma ba'd. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Ikra bismi rabbikal ladzi khalaq. Khalaqal insana min alaq. Ikra wa rabbukal akram. Alladhi 'allama bil kalam. 'Allama al insana ma lam ya'lam. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. My respected elders and my dear brothers and sisters, I welcome all of you with the Islamic greetings. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May peace, mercy and blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be on all of you. It's a pleasure for me to be once again back to London, especially Harrow, after a span of 8 months. The topic of this evening's talk is seeking knowledge in the light of Islam. Your children are an amana. Give them the best education for both the worlds. It is a long topic, but it's basically dealing with seeking knowledge in the light of Islam, and that your children are an amana, so give them the best education for both the worlds. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in the glorious Quran, the first guidance that He gave to the whole of humankind, it was not to pray, it was not to fast, it was not to perform Hajj, but the first guidance given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the glorious Quran to the whole of humankind was Iqra. It was to read, it was to recite, it was to proclaim. And I start my talk by quoting a few verses from the Quran, from Surah Iqra, chapter number 96, verse number 1 to 5, where Allah says, Iqra bismi rabbikal ladzi khalaq. Khalaqal insana min alaq. Ikra wa rabbukal akram. Alladhi 'allama bil kalam. 'Allama al insana ma lam ya'lam. Which means read, recite, and proclaim in the name of thy Lord who has created. Who has created the human beings from something which clings, a leech-like substance. Read, the Lord is most bountiful. He who has taught the use of pen has taught men that which he knew not. Though Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us the first guidance in the glorious Quran that we should read, but unfortunately, we realize that the Muslims, in the Muslim community, everyone does not read. And those Muslims who are involved in acquiring knowledge, in reading, they don't read as per the guidance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah does not say only read. Allah says, Iqra bismi rabbikal ladzi khalaq. Read in the name of thy Lord. So when we read, when we acquire knowledge, we should acquire knowledge in such a way that we come closer to our Creator, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If the knowledge does not bring you closer towards your Creator, towards your Rabb, then that knowledge is not useful for the Akhirah. And our beloved Prophet, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, it's a Sahih hadith, which is mentioned in Ibn Majah, hadith number 224. Our beloved Prophet said, Talabul ilmi, seeking knowledge, faridatun ala kulli Muslim, is obligatory on every Muslim. Seeking knowledge is obligatory on every Muslim, man or woman. It's compulsory that every Muslim should acquire knowledge. And it is the duty of us Muslims to see to it that we acquire knowledge. Many of us, we think that knowledge is only what we study in schools, in colleges, and universities. Education and knowledge starts at home. And the best teacher is the mother. It is the duty of the parents to see to it that they properly educate the children. See to it that they give them proper education. Because the child, when he or she is born, they are not responsible for the environment in which they are born. It is the duty of the parents to see to it that irrespective of the environment, they give them proper education. And today we find that there are various societies and the various ways of life in these societies. We have the Islamic way of life, we have the Western way of life, And we have a variety of different ways of life. As far as Islam is concerned, Islam is a complete way of life. It caters both to the spiritual aspect of the soul as well as the physical aspect of the body. And Allah says in the Quran in Surah Ma'idah, chapter number 5, verse number 3, on this day have I completed your religion for you, and have completed my favor for you, and have chosen for you Islam. So once Islam is completed, nothing new can be added or subtracted from it. Our deen is complete. So as far as the way of life is concerned, Islam is a complete way of life. When we mix Islam with the other societies and other ways of life and other cultures, whichever culture we are living in, if that part of the culture is not against the Islamic Sharia, is not against the Quran and the Sahih Hadith, we do not mind following or agreeing with that culture. But if that culture, if that society goes against Quran and Sahih Hadith, we should not follow it. Islam is number one. And now we find that many a times while upbringing our children, we have a problem because of the differences in societies and cultures. And we're aware of the Western society, as many of the Muslims, they're living in Western society. And we find that though the Western society, it is advanced in science and technology, but as far as moral values are concerned, they are declining. We find in the Western society that alcoholism is on the increase, drug addiction is on the increase, obscenity is on the increase, adultery is on the increase, rape is on the increase, crime is on the increase. While educating our children, we should see to it that we give them a proper Islamic education. And while we train them and upbring them in a Western society or any society in the world, it may be an Eastern society also, we should see to it that we should make them a good Muslim. That is, one who submits his will to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Islam comes from the root word salam, which means peace. It's also derived from the Arabic word silm, which means to submit your will to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Islam means peace acquired by submitting your will to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And any person who acquires peace by submitting his will to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he is called as a Muslim. While educating our children, we should see to it that we should not get so much impressed by the Western society. We should only take the correct values from the society. We don't want our children to become alcoholics, to become drug addicts, to become adulterers, to become rapists. We want them to be good Muslims who submit their will to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that every child, he is born in Dinul Fitr. Dinul Fitr means the innate religion. Every child is born as a Muslim. He submits his will to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Later on, the elders, the parents, the teachers, they influence the child. He may remain on the straight path, or he may become a fire worshipper, he may become an idol worshipper, and then he may go outside the fold of Islam. But every child initially, irrespective whether he's born in a Hindu family, whether he's born in a Christian family, a Jewish family, or a Muslim family, he is born as a Muslim. He submits his will to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Later on, by the influence of other people, parents, teachers, elders, he may go on the wrong track. That's the reason. Whenever any non-Muslim, he accepts Islam, the more appropriate and correct word is revert. He was on the straight path, he went on the wrong track, and then he came back on the straight path, on the straight track. So the correct word is revert. And we have got proof and evidence that every child, he is born in Dinul Fitr. There were researches done on two tribes, the Kapauku tribe and the Australian Aborigine tribe. These two tribes did not come in contact with modern civilization till as late as 1950. And later on, when researchers went and tried to find out what was the way of life, it was everything of Islam but in name. They did not call themselves Muslims, but they believed in one God. They believed that God did not have any idols or images. They believed he was not begotten. When they worshipped the God, they did the sujood. They prostrated. They were following the basics of Islam, but they didn't call themselves Muslims. So if we let a child after he's born, if we do not influence him with any of the teachings, that child will grow up to be a Muslim. That is the Din al-Fitr, innate religion. It is the duty of the parents that once the child is born, they should see to it that they give that child a proper environment to live and to continue life. It is the duty of the parents that they should see to it that they give proper education to the children. And many of us, we are worried about the education of our children. I would like to ask a question that when is the time you should start thinking about educating your child? What is the right time? Can anyone give the answer? That which is the right time? When do you start thinking what you want to make your child or what you want to make him? What should he be in life? Which is the right time? Which is the right time? Right from the beginning. As soon as he understands. Sorry? When he starts to think to get a child. He may start thinking after 10 years. Which is the right time? 7 years old, 2 years old, when he can understand, when he's born. 1 year old. 1 year old. Fine, here we have different options. Here someone is saying 3 years old, 3 years old. Someone is saying 3 years old, someone is saying 2 years old, someone is saying 1 year old, someone is saying when he's born. Islamically, the time to think of educating a child, the latest you should think, latest, maximum, is when you choose your life partner. When you choose your life partner is the time you have to think about educating a child, because the parents are the best teachers, especially the mother. That's the time. If you want to make your child Islamic, you should see to it that you have a spouse who's Islamic. If you don't have an Islamic spouse, how would you expect your child to be Islamic? So depending upon how you want to upbring your child is the time you start thinking when you choose a life partner. That does not mean already those who are married should choose a new life partner. Some people ask me, now I'm already married, what should I do? It is better late than never. You can start molding your life partner into that style. No problem. You can do dawah with the life partner. So you should realize that the best time to start thinking about educating your child, the latest is when you choose a life partner. As I was saying, our beloved Prophet, Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, it's a Sahih Hadith, which is mentioned in Ibn Majah, Hadith number 224. Our beloved Prophet said, Talabul ilmi, seeking knowledge, faridatun ala kulli Muslim, is obligatory on every Muslim. Seeking knowledge is obligatory on every Muslim, man or woman. Now, when we give knowledge to our children, we have to see to it that we give them proper knowledge. Knowledge can be broadly divided into two types. One is the basic knowledge of Islam, and second, knowledge what is required by the community. It's the duty of every parent that he should educate the children with the proper Islamic knowledge. Number one, most important, is Tawheed, that believing in one Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we should not associate partners with anyone to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala should not be associated with anyone else. Tawheed, number one. Then all the pillars which most of us know, but we should impart it in the right way to our children. About salah, about zakat, about hajj, about fasting. It's very important. And, but natural, knowledge of the Quran. This Quran is the last and final revelation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which was revealed to the last and final messenger prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Yesterday in Bradford, I had a talk on Al-Quran, should it be read with understanding? And I told there that the best gift that a parent can give to the child is the Quran, and make the child understand the Quran. Most of us Muslims, we teach our children to read Arabic. They can read Arabic, but they can't understand. If we teach them the language of the Quran, the Arabic as a language, that is the best gift you can give. And inshallah, towards the end of my talk, I will deal and discuss with that in detail. The second type of knowledge is the knowledge required by the community. Knowledge which makes a person a doctor, makes a person an engineer, a lawyer, a scientist, an agriculturist. This is too required for the betterment of the community, for the betterment of the society. But when we are acquiring the second type of knowledge, we should see to it that when we acquire scientific knowledge, when we learn about mathematics, geography, history, this knowledge should get you closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, should not take you away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If this knowledge takes you away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that knowledge is not correct knowledge. It's not correct education. It should bring you closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For example, when we learn medicine, we learn how to save the lives of thousands of human beings. But in that same medical knowledge, when we learn how to do abortion, there are youngsters who are doing zina, and then they want to abort. So using this knowledge for activities which are wrong, we should abstain from that. Abortion for saving the life of the mother. If she has a health problem, Islam gives permission. Otherwise, Allah says in Surah Isra, chapter number 17, verse number 31, and Surah Anam, chapter number 6, verse number 151, that kill not your children for want of sustenance. Killing of children is prohibited. So whatever knowledge you acquire, it should be for the betterment of humanity and get you closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whatever moral values you are learning, we should see to it that when we put our children in the school, that school should upbring our children properly. Imagine if we put our children in the convent school, many of whose values don't match with the value of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is like we are tying the hands and legs of our children and putting them in water and asking them to swim. How will they swim? So when we put them in a school, see to it you put them in a proper school. If the culture and society and the school teaches you manners, it should be good Islamic manners. Nowadays we find that in the Western culture, they say that manners is building old age homes. Islam has got no place for old age homes. Because Islam believes that we should love and respect our parents. And there are several verses in the Quran. Surah Luqman, chapter 31, verse number 15. Surah Ankabut, chapter number 29, verse number 8. Surah Anam, chapter number 6, verse number 151. Several verses which say that we have enjoined on the human beings that to be kind and good to your parents. And our beloved Prophet Muhammad said, it's mentioned in Sahih Bukhari, volume number 8, in the book of Adab, chapter number 2, hadith number 2, there's the person who approached the Prophet and he asked him that who deserves the maximum love and companionship in the world. So the Prophet said, your mother. The man asked after that who? The Prophet again repeated your mother. The man asked after that who? Again the Prophet said for the third time your mother. The man asked after that who? Then the Prophet said your father. 75%, 3/4 of the love and companionship goes to the mother, 25%, 1/4 goes to the father. In short, mother gets the gold medal, she gets the silver medal, as well as the bronze medal. The father has to be satisfied with the mere consolation prize. So Islam teaches that we have to love our parents, and especially as far as companionship is concerned, the mother gets 3 times more. So in Islam, there is no place for old age homes. So whatever manners and etiquettes that we teach our children, it should be in line with what our Creator Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants. And we find today that Muslims are in the firing line. We find that Muslims have become backward as far as science technology is concerned. as far as education is concerned. And the main reason is because we have gone away from the Quran and Sunnah. Previously, from the 8th to the 12th century, it was called as the Dark Ages. Dark for whom? Dark for the Europeans. The amount of advances the Muslim Arabs made, it is phenomenal. And if we read history, what we read in school, I myself have passed from a convent school, a Christian missionary school. I've got my education from there. It's later on, afterwards, I realized that what I read in school and in my medical college, I being a medical doctor, many things is something different. We are taught in school that the blood circulation was first discovered by William Harvey. In fact, if you read the Quran, Quran speaks about the blood circulation. In Surah Nahl, chapter number 16, verse number 66, how does the food enter into the stomach? Then from there, it goes to the intestine. From the intestine, via the bloodstream to various organs of the body, including the mammary gland, which is responsible for the production of milk. It speaks about the production of milk and about the blood circulation in a nutshell in Surah Nahl, chapter 16, verse 66. After I did research, I came to know that the first human being who first described the blood circulation was Ibn Nafis. 600 years after the Quran was revealed and 400 years before William Harvey. But when we read in our textbook, we are told about William Harvey. How many of us know about Ibn Nafis? How many of us? Hardly anyone knows that Ibn Nafis was the first person who described the blood circulation. We learn about geography, but the person who drew the first world map of geography was Al-Idrusi in 1154. What we study, the digits in school, you know what it's called? It is called as Arabic numerals. The 1, 2, 3, 4 that we use for writing, 1, 2, 3, 4, it is called as Arabic numerals. The other is the Roman numeral. The Indians were the people who first discovered about the zero, and the Arabs took it from there and made it famous to the world by adding